So today we will draw some patterns using lines so that we get a good practice. First we start with a square. Then we join the inner sides using a few lines. Then you can see we are filling the spaces with diagonal lines. Then we mark the points again and join them. They need not necessarily be a square. It can be any shape that you like. Try drawing the lines as parallel to the original line. Okay? See, as in when we go closer to the center, the lines become smaller. This has created a pattern. Now we use our pencil to highlight the main lines that we had drawn. Highlighting them creates an illusion. Next, we start with another pattern. First, we draw a square. One corner, we start with wavy lines. We draw a few wavy lines and then on top of it, we draw zigzag lines. Notice that I am dividing the square into 3 parts. On the other side, I start with curved lines and then proceed with wavy lines and complete the pattern with curved lines and some straight lines. I now divide the center portion into parts. Within the parts, I would be drawing a wavy pattern and a zigzag pattern. So that is our second pattern using lines. Now we move to a longer rectangular pattern. So draw a big rectangle, divide it into parts, and then again divide those parts by drawing diagonal lines. Start on one side with curved lines and then create a small floral petal like diagram on the top. Use some straight lines and wavy lines to make another pattern. Use some dots or dotted lines to fill between the lines. Draw a square and a tiny square. Divide the portion and fill the gaps with straight, vertical and horizontal and diagonal lines. Shade a tiny part of the square. Use wavy pattern and dots to create a pattern of your choice. Now I use a zigzag pattern and some dots. Now I fill the gaps with lines, vertical lines and dotted lines. There are some dashed lines, some dotted lines. And again, a few diagonal lines. We use zigzag pattern again. This is just a sample. You can get imaginary here and use whatever you like. Tell me which one is your favorite pattern. So that was our third pattern inside a rectangle. Now we are going to do a scene. We will have mountains, a water body, and some land. So we start with drawing a wavy pattern which will create an illusion that it is land. Then we divide the page, use some basic lines, diagonal lines here and there to make it look like a mountain. We divide the mountain using a zigzag line. Fill one side of the mountains using vertical lines. This creates an illusion of light and shadow. Now we will draw the water body using dotted lines, dotted and dashed lines. You may choose how big the dash and dot would be. You may skip the dots altogether, make smaller dashes, sometimes longer dashes. And now we'll put two curved lines to form a moon. So using lines, we were able to draw so many beautiful patterns.